The forgotten town of Hollow Creek. It was late October when Daniel Moore, a young journalist from Chicago, stumbled across a faded letter inside a thrift store book. The letter spoke about Hollow Creek, a forgotten town somewhere deep in rural Pennsylvania. The words were strange. "If anyone finds this, know that Hollow Creek is cursed. Do not go there. Do not search for us. The town must remain forgotten." For Daniel, this was more than just a creepy letter. It was a potential story, something that could make his career skyrocket. So, ignoring the warnings, he packed his camera, recorder, and a notebook, then drove toward the Appalachian backroads. The deeper he drove, the fewer signs of life he saw. No gas stations, no houses, just miles of endless forest. When his GPS lost signal, he knew he was close. And then, the trees opened, revealing a town that shouldn't exist. Cracked roads, collapsed houses, broken streetlights swaying in the cold wind. And at the center, a church with its bell tower leaning like it was about to fall. The next day, Daniel explored Hollow Creek. Every building told a story: a diner with plates of rotten food still on the tables, a barbershop with scissors lying on the chair, a toy store with dolls staring through cracked glass. And then, he found something terrifying. In the sheriff's office, he discovered rows of old case files. Each one described townspeople disappearing one by one until none were left. The final file read, "The Hollow wants more. We must feed it." The date was October 31st, 1962. That was the last written record. Daniel parked near the church and stepped out. The air felt wrong, too heavy, like it was pressing against his skin. Inside the church, he set up his recorder. The pews were covered in dust, the altar broken. But something unsettled him. The hymn books were open, as if people had just left mid-song. At exactly midnight, the church bell rang. Daniel froze. The bell was rusted, its rope snapped, impossible to ring. He grabbed his camera and recorded, whispering into the mic. October the 28th, 11:59 p.m. The bell just rang on its own. Then, from the corner of his eye, he saw movement. A shadow, slipping between the pews. But when he checked, no one was there. That night, Daniel decided to sleep in his car. But he woke up at 3:13 a.m. to the sound of children laughing. He looked out the window. A group of pale figures stood in the street. Their eyes were empty sockets, their mouths twisted in wide smiles. They whispered in unison, "You're not supposed to be here." Daniel started the car, but it wouldn't turn on. The figures got closer. The laughter grew louder, echoing like hundreds of voices, though he only saw a handful of them. Suddenly, his recorder in the passenger seat turned on by itself, and a voice, not his, spoke into it. Another one for Hollow Creek. Over the next 3 days, Daniel's journal entries grew more frantic. Day 1, "I hear the bell every night. I don't know who rings it. I can't leave, the road keeps turning me back into town." Day 2, "I found graves behind the church. They have no names, only dates. Each one is October 31st, repeating every year. Mine is already here. October 31st, 2025. Day 3, "I'm not alone in the church. Something breathes behind me when I try to sleep. If anyone finds this tape, leave this place. Don't make my mistake." On the night of Halloween, the church bell rang louder than ever. Neighbors who lived miles away reported hearing it, though the town doesn't exist on any map. Daniel's car was later found abandoned on a rural road. The police investigation noted that his belongings were intact, but the passenger seat was covered in ash. His recorder contained only one final clip. The tape ends with the sound of the bell tolling. Don't stop. Don't look back. Because Hollow Creek is waiting for its next visitor. And maybe, just maybe, that visitor is you.